Okay, so we're here above Pink Street, which I think they should rename for the purposes of today Red and White Street, because this is where all the Arsenal fans are gathering before today's Champions League final against Barcelona. And speaking personally for a moment, it's just really, really nice to see this fan culture, not just the numbers that Arsenal travel with, but the fan culture that's created to have like meetups like this with the colour and the singing and things like that. And I think it really gives you an indication that Arsenal fans are here for a good time. Arsenal are the underdogs going into this final, but there's a lot of belief down there, I think, as well, speaking to people, and but people are here for recognising this occasion for what it is and really coming here for a good day out as well, which I think is really, really important. And these guys, I think, are really going to be a source of energy for the players to draw on today. So we're here behind me at the Estadio José Avalagi, where in a couple of hours Arsenal are going to take on Barcelona in the Champions League final. And all of the talk from me and others has been about how Arsenal are definitely the underdogs for this, but they were the underdogs against Lyon in the semi-final, certainly when they lost that first leg. And I think there is a feeling that Arsenal can pull out their top-level performance against top-level opponents, and they're going to have to do that today. They're going to have to be a very nice mix between perfect and lucky, because Barcelona are so good, such a formidable opponent. But hopefully, you know, maybe some complacency from Barcelona, we can but hope. They've been in the last 5 finals, they're going for 3 in a row, but Arsenal, there's no pressure on Arsenal really, but it's very hot here in Lisbon, and they're going to play without the ball for a lot of the game, and so that's going to have a bit of an impact. But I think for Arsenal it's about getting through that first 20 minutes or so. Don't concede, let's have the game level, and then you can escalate, you can staircase from there, you can take Barcelona on, and they're going to have to pick their moments. They're going to have to pick their moments to press, they're going to have to pick their moments, and if they get a chance it has to go in the net. And I think Arsenal know that. They know the size of the task, but tremendously exciting for this club for the first time in 18 years to be back in a Champions League final again. So we're underway in Lisbon, Arsenal versus Barcelona. Very big first 20 minutes for Arsenal. Very important that they try to stay in the game. Very hot out there, and obviously they're not going to have a lot of the ball, but Barca very good at pressing their advantage early on and getting those early goals. So Arsenal fans outnumbered in here in Lisbon, which I think we expected due to flight prices and the kind of more favourable geography for Barcelona fans, but still good 5,000 Arsenal fans over in the corner, plenty in the general admission as well, and the team are really going to need to draw on their energy today as well. Thought that they had the lead there. Irina Paredes putting the ball into her own net from a low Frida Mornum cross. Unfortunately, Frida Mornum was offside at the point that the ball was slipped in down the right-hand side, but just for a brief few moments, Arsenal really thought they'd taken the lead. They've really acquitted themselves well so far, defended well, they've had chances, they've pressed Barcelona's fullbacks in particular, they've pressed less centrally. As Frida Mornum lets go of a shot there, which has just tipped over, but Arsenal are very much in this game. It's a very even game so far. 0-0, about 27 minutes in. Half-time here in Lisbon, 0-0. Arsenal thought they'd taken the lead in the first half when Irina Paredes put the ball in her own goal from a Frida Mornum cross, but unfortunately it was ruled out correctly, as it turns out, by VAR for an offside. But really strong half from Arsenal. They're really picking their moments when to press. They've created some chances by nicking the ball off Barcelona players high up, putting their full-backs under pressure, putting Patry and the centre-backs under pressure, but then when Barcelona come forward, they kind of sit off a little bit more in a slightly deeper block, but they've been by no means have they been defending this whole half. They probably had the slightly better chances. Freedom Ornham with a shot that Cole turned over. Kim Little had a good chance from the resulting corner. So really even game here. 0-0's probably about right. And Arsenal can be really happy with this first half, but obviously they got one more step to take in this half if they want to be champions of Europe. Half time, 0-0. So we're at the 60-minute mark, still 0-0, but Barcelona really have come out very strongly for the second half, as I'm sure most of us would have expected. Really starting to push Arsenal back, and Arsenal struggling to get out, struggling to relieve the pressure a little bit. A few shots come in, and I think this is kind of probably what we were expecting in this final, but there's still space for Arsenal on the break. I think they're going to have to use their subs bench, though, particularly because of the heat here in Lisbon.
Su ex equipo, Mariona, que se la deja con mucho espacio a Bedmi.
A shot from Mead. Oh, might work out. It does!
Dentro del área. ¡Gol! ¡Gol del Arsenal en la final de la Champions!
Stina Blackstenius! Yes.
Arsenal have taken the lead, and it's Stina Blackstenius. I said Arsenal were going to have to use their bench, and they did. They brought on Beth Mead and Stina Blackstenius, and they have combined. There was a set piece which Barca half cleared, and then Beth Mead was on the edge of the box, cut inside, had the presence of mind to see Stina in space in the channel, shot the ball to her, and Blackstenius puts it into the far corner, and Arsenal lead in the Champions League final with about 15 minutes to go. So outside the José Alvalade Estadio José Alvalade, forgive me if my words are a little bit bungled this time. Usually I do all of these in one take, but you'll forgive me if my emotions and my brain are a little bit all over the place, because just under 2 hours ago in here, Arsenal women won the Champions League for the second time. And my emotions definitely at full time were all over the place. I cried like a baby. I got absolutely no shame in admitting that. But I think what this really is a tactical triumph, and a triumph of the execution of a game plan. Because when you play Barca, you have to be perfect. You have to know when to go and when to sit. And Arsenal did that to an absolute T. And they created chances as well. This was not, I don't think, maybe when I watch it back I'll feel differently. I don't think Arsenal nicked this 1-0. I think they won it 1-0. Barca had their chances too, but Arsenal had chances. This was a game of equals. I think Barcelona, maybe at the beginning of the second half, I started to think, oh no, they're turning the screw, they're finding spaces, but actually Arsenal defended so resiliently in that spell. And I said throughout the vlog they're going to have to use their bench, and that's exactly what they did to score the winner for Stina Blackstenius. And ultimately I'm just really happy for these players, this football club, and the fans, all of our readers and listeners. Just an absolutely incredible, life-affirming day and night, and thank you for sharing it with us, because it means the world.